cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Time to sing you another song. Yes, that's what Uncle Yoop is saying there. And Aunt Katrine.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
His granddaughter. It's episode 2217. Yes, it's a show where I rhyme something like with the word meme, and then I say I'm going to do a video meme, and then I don't know what it is because I'm old. As you can see, I'm kind of senile. I know there's a lot of people with
Mike's Daily Podcast.
an advanced early, I should say an early form of senility that
Mike's
they go,
Daily
oh, I forgot.
Podcast.
I was supposed to bring the dip. Hey, wait a minute. That hasn't happened lately. But I know once upon a time when we had get-togethers that there'd be some people that would say, oh, I forgot to bring the lasagna. Oh, I made crock pot lasagna last night. It was so good. Unbelievable. You know what? I knocked it out of the park. And it was really easy. Gonna give you the recipe. Here it is. Write it down. Go. Get a bunch of squash. Get a bunch of those ridiculous, if you're Italian, you go, that's not really pasta. That's not. I'm talking about lasagna noodles, the hard kind, that kind of the break. They're in the store. They're cheap. Get those. Get a container of cottage cheese and a couple packets of shredded mozzarella and a jar of spaghetti sauce. I am so offending Italians, and here we go. You chop up the squash, you put it on the bottom. You chop up like little, you can chop up however way you want. I found just taking it, making it into the little dollar size, the round, the little, not lengthwise, but chop size. And you put those on the bottom. Not all of them.
And here's today's podcast picture.
It's a picture of a squash. And you put some of the squash on the bottom. Then you put a little bit of the sauce. And zucchini, if you prefer. I will say zucchini. Then you put some sauce. Then you put a bunch of cottage cheese. Then the mozzarella. Then you put a couple of the noodles. And you got to break them, kind of fit them in the crock pot. Then you put some more squash. Then you put some more sauce. And then you put some more cheese. And you don't have to really follow this layering plan, but you get the idea. And then you let it cook for 4 hours, and you've got yourself a lasagna. It's a little liquidy, though. I used to make it when Basil the Boxer was around, when he was alive, and I would let him lick the crock pot afterwards, because that's the kind of crazy dog owner I was. That's right, Basil, and he enjoyed it. If you're going to let your dog lick the crock pot, you got to wait till it cools down. Be friendly to your dog. Don't burn his tongue. And now, that was all my recipes for today's show. I hope you liked it. But I did wake up with a bit of a allergy reaction today. And I don't know what it was. My lip felt like somebody had punched me. And I don't know if that's if I punched myself in my dreams. Because these dreams go on when I close my eyes. But I don't know. Something weird happened. The podcast picture is of a beautiful sunset recently in Podcastro Valley. Today, I don't know how the sunset was. I missed out. But I bet it was a joy. Then, how about, let's say you are thinking about, I don't know, maybe you want to buy a house someday, or you bought a house, or you're thinking, hey, I wonder how those people that are buying houses, what they're doing, because I want to sell my house or whatever. I'm not a real estate agent, but this is interesting. I pulled this out of the local paper, the Podcastro Valley Forum. And it had this to say: as the COVID-19 restrictions that were put in place almost exactly a year ago, many thought the move would plunge the real estate market into an abyss. Do you remember that? It's like, how are we going to go look at houses when we can't even leave the house that we're in or the apartment that we're in right now? How are we supposed to look at stuff? Ironically, the exact opposite happened. While momentarily fear gripped the market, and some buyers canceled. Showing guidelines were quickly put in place, and with a vibrant pool of buyers, the market roared back to life, establishing new heights in the process. It is mind-boggling what we've gone through in the past year, and you've heard that over and over again within the past week when we reached the 1-year anniversary of the lockdown. But you know, it changed our world in a way. I mean, when we started 2020, did we really know what the trajectory was going to be? There's some alternate universe where COVID-19 never happened. And I don't know, a couple things, we could have just kept doing what we were doing. Zoom probably wouldn't be as big. It'd still be being used about as much as it was being used. The streaming channels would probably be doing so. It's not crazy amazing like they did last year. Disney Plus launched in 2020, and it was brilliant that they did that because they made so much money. And then HBO Max cashed in, and what's the CBS equivalent? Is it the Paramount Plus is what they're doing. Wow, original. So original, putting a plus at the end of your name. Paramount and Disney. Worse for Paramount because they basically copied Disney, but Disney copied Google. There was a Google Plus once upon a time that failed miserably, but yes, that's what happened in 2020. In the alternate universe, they're probably not as big. I mean, that stuff would have happened, but would it have happened at an accelerated pace like it did last year? I mean, it was a pressure cooker last year. Things needed to happen. The economy needed to keep going. People still needed to make money, and they found ways to do it. And would Trump still be president if there had not been COVID-19? It's an interesting question. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Is it the Lincoln people? The Lincoln folks, that they're Republicans that dislike Trump? And they raised a bunch of money, the Lincoln Project, to get Trump thrown out of office. And they used the whole COVID-19 as a weapon against Trump, so that could have affected it. Oh, but wait, the Democrats suddenly became really, really tech savvy. And they because big tech is behind all the Democrats. They're all in league with each other. They're all linked together, and so that's what happened, right? Is that how the election got overthrown? Oh, but Biden today said that the Russians once again meddled with our 2020 elections like they did in 2016. He made that accusation today. I don't know. There are a lot of Republicans that believe that the 2016 elections were not manipulated and that Trump won fair and square. Then why don't they believe the 2020 elections weren't manipulated and Biden won fair and square? But there you got Biden saying they were manipulated. Oh, it's too confusing. But hey, if I was a political talk show host, I'd have those topics to go to over and over and over again. And then I could complain also about the other stuff like, oh, they gave away too much money for the stimulus. Which, by the way, if you have any friends that get their stimulus checks like now and brag about it, here's what you say to them. You're buying lunch. That's all you have to say. Buy me a pizza. You can say that too. Buy me a car. That's a good thing to say. When people brag about that, or if they go, oh, I already submitted my taxes. I got my refund check already. Oh, good. You're buying lunch. Oh, wait, I used that one already. You're buying me a hat. You're buying me a tiara. That's what you say to those people that brag about their little money windfalls. Oh, I did that. Well, that's not really a windfall. They worked to get, because they went. Here's the funny thing is today it was announced that the tax day has been moved from April 15th to March 17th. A lot of people were thinking, Biden's not going to do it. Trump did it because, Trump understood, but Biden's not going to do it. We're going to have to pay our taxes April 15th. Nope. March 17th it is. A strong buyer pool. So many have wondered why the market has been so strong. In a nutshell, a number of factors are pushing the market along. A strong buyer pool. While many lost their jobs due to COVID, those holding tech sector and other professional jobs were gainfully employed all through the crisis and in many cases had increased spendable income due to the fact they no longer needed to commute to work. Oh, here's what I discovered today, is that I could have gotten paid a little something extra, like up to $50 a month from my company that I work for because I worked from home. They would have given me $50. Only thing is I would have had to submitted all the paperwork and all the days that I worked and done all the breakdown and put it on an Excel spreadsheet and given it to them all by, the end of last month, February 28th. I didn't get an extension there. That was my cutoff point. They would have paid for my internet bill. This happened, this whole COVID-19 little benefits thing that happened. Like, I didn't find out till I had, I think, 1 day left in 2020 that I could have had taken, 4 days off and been paid because of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 relief that my company was doing. They sent out one email earlier. Okay, so here's what I'm saying. I'm not complaining about my company, because this is probably true of all companies everywhere. I am saying that in order to get ahead in this world, you got to know and lock down your skills in using Excel, which I have not done. If there's anything I need to do in the next few weeks, or at least some point in the near future of my life, of my lifetime, it is to really hunker down and learn how to use Excel. I can do a couple things, but I am nowhere near being proficient in it. And if I do that, I'm sure I can do things like get paid $50 for working from home. But the other thing is, I got to read the dang emails that the company sends me. That's the other thing. If you hunker down and actually read everything the company sends you, you will find out about little things like that, especially when the HR department sends something. Always read that, because that's going to always help you in some way, or hurt you. But you need to be cognizant and privy to everything happening. Your mind must meld with the HR brain, the HR mind force. This is what I have learned today. Easier said than done. I came up with that expression. Yes. There. No, I didn't, but what a great idea to say that at this point, because it's true. Many locked up on small rental properties decided they need to get larger spaces sooner than later. Lack of motivated sellers. Many think that the COVID-19 caused the inventory shortage. In reality, we were facing an extreme shortage of homes before the coronavirus hit. While some sellers held their homes off the market due to the virus, most continued with their plans to sell. Consequently, we do not expect to see a surge of homes to the market even when the restrictions are lifted, says Carl Medford, who is a realtor. And that's what he works for Keller Williams. Even though rates inched up a fraction in the past few weeks, they are still remarkably low. We may continue to see incremental increases, but overall rates are projected to remain low throughout the remainder of the year. The result is twofold. Buyers capitalizing on the low prices are hoping to max out their purchase while rates are low. Secondly, even though the recent increases have been low, they have been enough to galvanize some buyers to get off the bench. So with restrictions projected to ease over the next few weeks, many are asking whether or not the easing will affect the real estate market. In short, while we will all enjoy a return to increased freedoms, we do not believe we will see any significant changes in the real estate market in the short term, says Carl Medford. While that is good news for sellers, it is not great for those buyers who were hoping the lessening restrictions would make it easier to score a home. Thank you, Carl. That was insightful. I found it very informative. Hey, we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Look who's here. Hello, my commercial. It's Madame Rootabega, and I want to buy a house now that everybody got vaccinated now. Oh, what? Everybody's been vaccinated. Oh, everybody's been what? Vaccinated. Vaccinated. Yes, you're hard to understand sometimes. You have a very strong accent. Yes. And you like to speak very quickly. Yes. And you make complete sense all the time. No, that's true. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't want to buy a house. We're just going to keep living in the parking lot there.
Yeah, the parking lot. Do you know that? You guys live in the parking lot? Do they live in the parking lot, Madame Rootabega? No. I thought I just rewind. No, we don't have a rewind button. Just kidding. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer. Chime in about anything we talked about at 336MM Daily. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6. MM as in Mike Matthews, Daily as in what the podcast has been the past couple days. You can also email me, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm not on any of the crazy right-wing or left-wing social media sites yet, but we'll see. Maybe I'll get in on that. But first, it is A-Frame to take us out of the show.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!